Hey, what's up, my beautiful people? Welcome to your Venus retrograde video. There is so much change happening right now, and this period of time, this block of retrograde summer activity is going to be remembered, I believe, probably for the rest of our lives. This is going to go down in history. So far this year, of course, has been nothing short of a once in a lifetime experience. And it's easy to get caught up in the negativity or the banter back and forth or issues that are external to our lives. So I want to bring it back in. Just let's bring it back in here for a minute, okay? Venus retrograde. This is going to bring us face to face with our desires, okay? Venus in Gemini is all about identifying our passions, understanding analysis of things that we like, things that we want to do, people we want to be around with, having the experiences that we desire. It's a very cerebral kind of energy, okay? Now, throughout the time that, we're right as I'm recording this on May 1st, we are already in the shadow period. So everything that's happened since April, I believe April 14th, has been, the energies that are coming in to teach us something about our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with people, our relationship with our community, our relationship with our relationships, just the idea of relationships. Like, what is a relationship to you? What kind of relationships do you have in your life? Do you feel like your people that are in your life are loyal to you? Do you feel that you have a lot of toxicity around you? Do you feel that people are always fucking you over? Do you feel like you have loving and nurturing people in your life? Like, these are all the questions that are going to be coming up, and you're going to be looking and identifying, looking in the cracks and identifying the weak spots, because that's what Venus retrograde is meant to do. It takes us back within, and it brings experiences and situations into our reality that put it right in front of our face. Neptune, there's a massive aspect here going on during this entire retrograde, which is the Venus square Neptune, that is going to sort of dominate the energy with this particular process for the next month and a half, 2 months. And Neptune is like the greater benefic of Venus, right? They have a lot of things in common. Venus loves being in Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. Venus is all about Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Neptune is all about the bigger picture, the surrender, the we are all one. Neptune is also about addiction, illusion, and delusion. It's like mental illness, okay? It's the media, it's the mirror reflection, it's our reality that we paint from our perspective. And depending on what perspective that we have will dictate our reality. So with this Venus square Neptune here, which, Venus is going retrograde at 21 degrees of Gemini, and Neptune is sitting there firm at 20 degrees, not going anywhere for a while. And then, of course, Venus is going to dip back to 5 degrees of Gemini. So there's going to be like an orb there, and it's going to go up, but then it's going to come back. And so we're going to go through this sort of like washing mechanism of our idea of love, of our beliefs of love, of our idea about what our passions are, about what makes us really, really happy, right? So right now we have created this experience because, we are the creators of our reality, right? If you believe that, then, you know that, you take responsibility for your life. Especially with the North Node here now in Gemini, this Gemini energy, very, very strong. This is where we become very cerebral and very assessment, maybe over analysis of our ideas of the future, our ideas of how we want our lives to live. And we all have one area in our lives that are difficult right now, okay? While all the external forces have slowed down, of all these things have stopped, and all this crazy stuff's going on in the world, okay, it's a reflection of what's going on within in the collective unconscious. So this energy, I always feel I'm making this video because I feel that Venus retrograde is an important energy to understand, and we need to be really, really present with ourselves while going through this process, because we can really get caught up in the feeling like something is, like we have these rose tinted glasses on. It's almost like, Venus retrograde brings us into this almost like mild little acid trip, right? That we have these rose colored glasses on, and something's going to come in and it's going to appease the senses. Okay. Venus is about the five senses. It's going to appease these senses, but Neptune puts a fog around it. It makes it emotional. It makes it like unable to see clearly. And with that aspect going on, this is going to make it a very confusing time. And we want to make sure that we are grounded and centered in our own heart. Because if we allow ourselves to get pulled out of our heart and into someone else's story or into something, outside of ourselves, sort of like being a cameo in someone else's movie, and that's where shit's going to go bad and shit's going to go wrong. Okay. So let's bring up the chart here, and I'm going to show ya. So here we have May 13th, which is the day that Venus goes retrograde. Right now, okay, we still have Chiron conjunct Black Moon Lilith. We have Mars at 0 degrees of Pisces. So, Venus and Mars. Venus is the divine feminine. Mars is the divine masculine. Mars doesn't like Pisces too much. Mars is like, I don't like feeling. I just want to go. I just want to do it. I just want to make shit happen. And now it's in Pisces. It's like slows down. It gets like stuck in the mud. It can be a little bit passive aggressive. It can question itself. It can get a little like frustrated, right? There's some frustrating energy here that we have to watch out for. Now, a good thing is that, Neptune is sextile the sun, particularly, on this day, which is shining some light on our spirit, giving us hope for clarity, hope for change, hope for growth, hope for moving into this new place. But that hope is going to sort of be like a fleeting sort of feeling. Okay. So as we go into this process, Chiron and Lilith kind of stay connected for a while, and Venus just sort of hangs out there at 21 to 20 to 19 degrees, which is literally like right where Neptune is. And then we have Mercury, that's going to be coming over Venus. That's going to bring us more communication in the communicative place during a new moon. That's a lot of energy that's like blasting into this aspect. So this is like, we want to figure it out. It's like our emotions are trying to tell us something, and we feel the destiny is calling us, but we're like, where the fuck do we go? Like, okay, I hear you. It's like you can hear a voice out there somewhere saying, come here, come here, come here. But it's all foggy and cloudy, and you can't see anything. So you have to go with what feels right. And but here's the conundrum. Here's a paradox. Is that what feels right, because all this energy in Gemini, is the analysis. Well, if practicality, or like logically speaking, if I walk this way, I'm going to get there, I'm going to do this, and this is going to happen. But Neptune is sort of saying like, no, you have to almost learn to walk blind and trust your feeling. This is like ninja training in love. No, no bullshit. Okay. And especially with everything going on in the world, this is going to be like a lot of weird stuff with people trying to come back out. Like, everybody wants to create communities, and everybody wants to get together. Everybody wants to just have fun and connect and nurture each other. And oh my God, making it through the Rona and all this weird, crazy stuff. People are going to try to go back to normal, but it's just not going to feel the same. It's not going to feel right, because, collectively we have sort of like a PTSD going on in the entire world right now. So we really have to be careful, because this is where like the woundology can come in. Like, say for example, you've been having a tough go, right? You have a lot of emotions coming up. There are a lot of really intense aspects, but with all the world stuff going on, there's so much unknown. And if there's fear there, that fear is going to be front and center for you to deal with. Now, Venus retrograde is going to bring in this like, oh, I'm afraid of this. You're afraid of this too. Hey, let's be afraid of this together. And it's going to be like this woundology connection. And you guys are going to find out that you have all these things on the surface that are in common. You guys are both really attracted to each other. And it's like, holy fuck, this is amazing. Then what happens when Venus goes direct? Then you're going to realize like, oh man, like I really want to do something in my life. And they're like, I'm lazy. I'm just going to sit around and do drugs and drink all day. And you're like, fuck that, dude. You better get out and get a fucking job, man. And he's like, nah, fuck you. And then the real you comes out. And there's going to be some kind of incompatibility there, because we were feeling on the surface from this place of this unique, outcasted sort of wound that we collectively feel. Now, this is designed, this energy is here, it's happening this way in order to teach us of what we really want in this life. It's attempting to show us our reality is, and with Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn now all retrograde in, Saturn will be back in Capricorn pretty soon, but Jupiter and Pluto are still in the third decan of Capricorn. This is going over like all these new structures and all these new things that we're building in our lives from everything that we've gone through and everything that we're experiencing. Like, how do we really want to place this? So if you're getting yourself, like, if you think that all of a sudden you found the love of your life, or all of a sudden you found this business opportunity that is just going to make you a multimillionaire, bro, ma'am, chick, hun, dude, babe, whatever, chill out, sit back, and just breathe through it, okay? Because the analysis, the practicality, that can have a bit of a deceptive effect. Now, we can also have a lot of issues coming up around self-confidence or self-worth. Neptune in Pisces is really like, it'll drudge up, especially this being square to Venus. This will drudge up a lot of energy around like not feeling good enough. Like, say for example, like you've been in a relationship for a couple months, everything seems pretty good, complicated situation, but whatever, we're going to go with it. So we're going to move in together, right? We're going to take this next step. A lot of people right now are making some very massive, very, very big life-changing moves that are very risky. Now, it could be in business. Of course, a lot of business stuff is incredibly risky right now, but with relationships too. Now, say you move in, then when you go through this Venus retrograde, it's like, wow, I didn't expect to feel this way. You don't know it until you're in the middle of it. Now you're in the middle of it. You're like, what the fuck am I going to do? how am I going to navigate this? What's going to go on? And then you start to overthink everything, right? And as you're overthinking everything, you might get depressed, you might get lost in it, you might start to resort to some addictive behaviors or depression or anxieties that were sort of underneath the surface that need to be come up to look at. And with all this crazy stuff going on in the world, like, we all just want to be nurtured in a way, because right now, like, there's so much unknown. This fear is just plaguing. That's the real viral effect going on right now, this fear. But this fear is meant to bring up this Chiron energy, this Black Moon Lilith energy. It's bringing up all these things that we need to look at within ourselves. We need to process the feelings, then assess it and analyze it, but it has to come through the heart first, okay? And with coming through the heart, we have to let go of preconceived notions of these visions or images in our mind that we thought might be real, but it's really an illusion. Like, we have to bring this vision in our mind, we have to sort of put that to the side, okay? We all have a vision in our mind of how we want our lives to be, but we have to bring it back to the reality. Now, the present moment in reality is where we're at, right? Now, of course, we have to believe in something greater, but believing in something greater right now means that having faith and surrendering to the process of the now, okay? Because this vision in our mind, it may be tricking us a little bit, okay? For much of this time up until May 28th, Venus will be in its home sign of Gemini as well. So, Mercury. Mercury will be in its home sign of Gemini until May 28th. So, with Mercury in its home sign of Gemini, Mercury is very strong. And, this Gemini energy is getting very palpable. So we're moving from a very emotional time to a very intellectual time. But with Neptune being there and starting the third decan of Pisces, it throws another curveball of a different kind of emotional aspect to it. And this is like, acting. This is a mirror reflection. So everything in your life right now is a mirror reflection of how you really feel. And if you're not in the present moment, you're going to become almost victim to this idea of what you want your life to look like. And by the time Venus goes direct and then crosses over that square to Neptune for the last time, that's going to be a serious reality check. So we have to make sure that we're staying really honest with ourselves and loving ourselves first. The big thing here is we do not want to sacrifice ourselves for anyone else. Now, this may bring something in where you think it's everything you want, right? I had a situation experience that taught me one of the second biggest lesson in my life in Venus retrograde in 2014, 2015. And I met this woman I thought was the love of my life. And I thought everything I ever wanted on paper. She was perfect. She was hot, sexy, gorgeous. I mean, fulfilled every fantasy. She was into everything that I did. But what I didn't realize until many years later, actually, because it sent me down a rabbit hole of needing to face my insecurities, my jealousy, these feelings of self-worth that I had a really big issue with, self-confidence issues, like my own identity. Like, I had to go down a really, really deep, dark hole and investigate my soul to discover really who I was at a deeper level. Now, in retrospect, I see how it all played out in divine timing and perfectly as it was supposed to. But it was a very, very difficult lesson for a very long time. And, that can happen if you get caught up in this sort of rose-tinted, vision in your mind that Venus represents. Venus is not just about relationships and money. It's about the vision that we have for our life, the vision of what we desire to have, right? And in Gemini, this is about like having communities, which, and also Uranus in Taurus is all about going back to like a tribal mindset. So there's a lot of like tribal energy going on here that is really shifting the way that human beings think and are motivated, and the way that we interact with each other on a fundamental level, like the way that we receive information from each other. There's like this social distancing thing that is going on right now across the world. And Venus wants to connect, especially in Gemini. It's a networker, it wants to get around and like talk to everybody. So this is where we're going to be discovering new ways. But if you trap yourself in this vision, like, that's what we have to be careful of here. There's a trap that we can set ourselves in. Okay, I want to make that clear, because the universe is always, all these celestial aspects, they're giving us opportunities. Okay, astrology is a great way to identify where to pay attention to in our life, what's going on at this particular time, what we're dealing with. The more aware we are of it, the more we're able to be in the present moment and make more sound decisions based on what our highest purpose and our highest goal is. And sometimes when we're in a situation of high stress, of high anxiety, of heightened fear, the unknown, which there's so much unknown, so much misinformation out there right now. That is also Neptune at 20 degrees of Pisces. We haven't seen Neptune at 20 degrees of Pisces in our lifetime. Okay, so this is big time the media. All right, and we're about to get a lot more. It's going to get a lot more weird, a lot of misinformation coming out from all over the place. We're not going to know who the fuck to trust at all, like we do now, right? And then with these other aspects as well, it's we've already broken down. It's like we've taken a jackhammer to the old foundation, right? Now everything is rubble. Now we have to go look through the rubble and pick out the pieces and excavate all this stuff that is left over that we got to get rid of, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. It is just transmuted or transformed. So with this transformation of energy, we are taking a deep look and a deep dive into what we really love, what we're really passionate about, where we want to go, how do we want to do it, what makes us fucking happy, and are you sacrificing yourself in order to make yourself believe that you, so say like, well, I'm never going to have more money. I'm never going to, have, this type of life. I'm never going to have that. I'm never going to have this. So I have this in front of me and this checks off 8 out of the 10 boxes. So, hey, forget about it. Like, let's just fucking go for it. All right. That's the wrong answer. That's what's going to fuck you over, because that is clearly a sign that you do not believe in yourself. And that is going to bring up some self-worth and self-confidence issues, right? Now, look here, at the end of May into June, we have Uranus conjunct Black Moon Lilith here for quite some time. I'd say up until about June 4th is when it starts to get away from it. And now we have Mars coming close to Neptune as well. So, Mars is the divine masculine. Venus is the divine feminine. We have Uranus, which is the great disruptor. Okay. And I almost forgot. Look at this. We have also, we have the sun conjunct Venus on June 3rd. So that is going to be a great day. That is when the sun is shining on our divine feminine, on all these things that we're questioning and we're learning. So this could be a massive amount of clarity. This could be a massive amount of understanding. This could be a breakthrough or breakdown to breakthrough. Okay. And 13 is actually a really good number. And on this day, we have the sun, that is actually, the sun and Venus are going to be square over to Mars and sesquiquadrate over to Jupiter and Pluto. So with the square, with the sun and Venus square over to Mars, that's gonna be man, that's gonna bring a bit of a different feel to it. Okay, in the sense that this is the divine feminine, divine masculine, sort of like this is like that like rupturing, like so I see a geyser getting ready to gush, right? This is a geyser getting ready to gush out of the ground because it needs to transform. The energy needs to shift from being under the ground to out and about, right? This is where the tension will sort of hit its breaking point, if you will, and we will identify something within ourselves that has been holding us back. And all this time too, we have Jupiter and loosely Pluto quincunx the North Node. So this Jupiter and Pluto is basically conjunct the entire summer. Okay, so that energy in and of itself is just keeping shit deep. So if you're not a deep person, or if you don't like deep feelings, or if you, like, you're gonna have to get used to it. Okay, because this depth is where the magic happens, and we making a lot of magic this transit, guys. Like, this is massive. Okay, so the sun crosses over Venus, and now it starts like a new chapter in the Venusian cycle of how we think and feel. All right, which is going to be, in my opinion, really great. Now, as we continue, let's see here. It's going to go back all the way back. So on June 12th, we have Mars. Well, we actually have the Moon, Mars, and Neptune all going to be conjunct in Pisces. And that's all going to be square over to the sun. Now, Venus is making a sesquiquadrate over to Pluto and well, I'd say probably, yeah, Pluto and Jupiter, because now Jupiter is at 25 degrees, Pluto's at 24 degrees. So sesquiquadrate, this is like this is a difficult aspect, but this generally brings back past stuff or past life stuff. So this could be bringing something back from the past that you hadn't fully learned yet. This could be bringing a past life lover. This could be bringing a past lover in your life now, to clear things up. This is basically like, guys, like, this is karma in its purest and most rawest form, coming in and saying, hey, we need to clean this shit up. We need to go, because we got shit we got to do here in the fifth dimension. So y'all need to stop fucking around and stop, playing these games, and, rise up. So we're going to be tested during this time. Okay. These energies are here to show us our own truth. And as we're showing our own truth, I mean, Mars conjunct Neptune in itself, that can be very powerful in some good ways and some difficult ways. Really, it's incredibly, like, this could activate psychic powers and intuitive, potentials. It could also increase the delusion. It could increase the capacity or potentiality for addiction. If you're living with someone that you're all of a sudden discovering that you don't really like too much, you have to watch out for that domestic, violence and stuff. I mean, this shit is real. Okay. But if it's getting that bad, why the fuck are you in that situation in the first place? You got to go. You got to leave this shit. You got to make some changes and you got to take action to create the life that you want to fucking live. Okay? It's so important. I cannot stress it enough. Now, as we come to, let's see, June 17th, and now Saturn's at 0 degrees, and the moon's coming back around over to Gemini. Now it's at the 5 degrees. It's going to stay there for about a week, right? And it's going to go direct on June 25th. So now Venus is at 5 degrees, June 25th. We're in the middle of the summer, and we have a yod. And of course, throughout this time, the sun has, let's see, right? The sun is crossing over on June 20th. Actually, there's going to be a solar eclipse. Yeah. So the sun is going to be just about conjunct the North Node. And the moon's going to be there too. Wow. This is powerful, guys. So this summer, man, oh my God, this Gemini energy is going to be so strong, but this is starting the next chapter, like energetically in our spirit. And coming into this Gemini Sagittarius cycle, this is like, hey, like, and especially being at 20, actually, I want to see exactly what degree this is. Let's see. I haven't actually looked into this yet. Okay, so 0, 0, 25. Is that Cancer? It is at 0 degrees Cancer. That is huge. Okay, so we are having an eclipse on June 20th at 0 degrees of Cancer. 0 degrees is like the in-between number. And now we have Lilith and Chiron, again, back together, just 3 degrees apart. This is massive. So now Venus is like at the end of its retrograde, okay? And it's trining over to Saturn. So we're getting these like mixes of energies that are like pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling. And now at the 0 degree spot of Cancer, it's like, all right, we're solidifying the belief systems. We're solidifying where you want to go. Now everything is done. There's no turning back. Now it's time to move forward. This is the last bit of this Capricorn and Cancer polarity energy. And it's the eclipse is happening at 0 degrees Cancer, but the North Node is at 29 degrees of Gemini, which is a master number. Well, both of them master numbers. So we are sort of walking through a portal right here, okay, on June 20th. And so this is like leading us into a very powerful time of new love, of new life. And look, guys, like we have a really great opportunity here, but we have to listen to our feelings, our thoughts, because if we don't listen to our heart in this process, then we're gonna be fucking miserable, okay? And we're gonna get stuck in that misery, and we don't want that, right? We want to be empowered. We want to live the life that we believe we deserve, but you have to really feel that you deserve it. And that feeling has to be pure. In order for it to be pure, you have to get through the muck. You have to get through the crap. Okay, so this Venus retrograde is showing us that we have some muck to work through. Okay, and as we're working through it, it's going to test us. But look, when we're getting tested, as long as we are in our heart, as long as we are in our faith, as long as we are in our center of who we believe we are in this world, this empowerment of this belief system that we have, like say for me, my belief system is that I am a light worker, I am an athlete, I am a father, I am all these different labels that I give myself, but they all combine to make me who I am. And I am here to help people. I am here to stand up in my truth, and whoever chooses to listen can listen. Whoever wants my help, I will gladly help. And whoever doesn't can kindly go do their own thing and do, whatever. I don't care. Okay. And we have to be able to separate ourselves. Like Aquarius is all about that healthy detachment, right? Healthy detachment, because when you help people, there's going to be haters. Okay? When you fall in love with someone for real, there's going to be temptations. They're going to try to come in and fuck it up. And you have to be ready emotionally and honest with yourself, because everybody's going to feel the vibes. The vibes are so strong right now. The energy is so clear, so raw, so vulnerable, that energy is not going to lie. So if you're lying to yourself, the other people are going to feel it, and that's just going to fuck your world all up. So the moral of this story, of this Venus retrograde, is to be authentic and honest with yourself, to stand in your power, and to take action on what you love. But do not be impulsive with that action. And do not fall victim to this delusionary vision of your mind. Make sure that you're checking in with these energetic sources throughout your body, and that everything feels right. And if you don't know what feels right, if you're stuck between that fear and intuition, okay, which we all go through it. It's a phase, it's a process you have to go through in order to find that stillness, that place, that center within yourself. Then I encourage you to come check out my opportunity community, because that is where we making fucking magic, baby. Okay, we're all coming together, calling each other out on bullshit. We all have an accountability buddy, and we're all making magic happen. And we're all in it together, and being vulnerable and triggering and working through and purging and having a great time, raising our vibration, getting healthy, getting fit, getting happy, and realize that, hey, we ain't alone in this. So let's all work together and help each other out in this very deep and intense process of discovering that deeper layer of who we are, that deeper aspect of what we really want in this life, and bring our dream, our vision, that's not that rose-colored vision, but our vision that we've had for quite some time, into reality. Okay? It requires many levels of checks and balances, though. And we're about to go through a crucible of those checks and balances, and it's going to test us to see where we're at. So the key here is to stay centered, and trust me, I get it. It's easy to be pulled out of that center place, but we're all human. So guess what? It's okay. All right. But it's not okay to stay in it. It's not okay to stay a victim. It's not okay to continue to self-sabotage. It's not okay to just stay where you're at. We need to grow. We need to evolve, because look, the world needs us, guys. Okay? And girls. So make sure that you're doing the work for you, people you love. Make sure you're being honest with yourself. Make sure you're bringing it to that next level that you know you can bring it to, okay? So thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Check out spiritualbodybuilder.com. Please check out my opportunity community. Please check out my 4-week transformational protocol. It's been a beautiful experience, and we're building on it. We're creating an awesome community. I would love you to be a part of it. So come on down, let's make it happen, and comment below if this information resonates with you, and I will see you beautiful people on the next video. Namaste.